Why can it feel so tricky to tell if our kids are on track, going through a phase, as opposed to struggling with something more or beyond the behaviors? It's so difficult to know if your child is presenting developmentally in range and when it's something more, because thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are always found on a continuum, and because we're always changing and developing. It's hard to tell because we're all parenting in the same pool. There's a deep end and there's a shallow end. For those of us who are swimming in the shallow end, we can stretch out our legs. We have a platform to stand on when we need to take a break to catch our breath. We feel more available for things like play, enjoyment, and adventure. It's not always awesome and easy, but for the most part, it's ticking along just fine. Others of us are parenting in the deep end, where we have to be on almost all the time. We're very busy putting out fires, and we feel high levels of parenting stress for long periods of time. You might wonder, why does it look so easy for everyone else? There are people at the edge of the pool for whom it can be tough to tell the shallow from the deep. There are spectators who observe who's in the pool. They might have kids playing independently in the shallow. They're lounging on beach chairs, sipping cold drinks, keeping one eye on their child, and maybe having an occasional request that they can adapt to, like, "Mom, can I have a sandwich?" "Well, not sure if I have sandwiches, but you can have a granola bar." "Aw, man, okay." And they continue to play. And then we have lifeguards. Those are monitor people in the pool. They monitor for signs that swimmers might need extra help. Parents in the shallow might be confused about why the parents in the deep end are having such a hard time having fun. Those parents seem to panic so often, find themselves drained and gasping for breath. They tread water more than they swim laps, and they usually have a child clinging to them for dear life. After a while, the parents in the deep end start to wonder if those in the shallow maybe have a point. Maybe we are making too much of this. Maybe I'm the problem. That can lead to shame, isolation, or silence. Those standing on the edge holding the life ring might have some training about how to throw the ring, but many of them aren't really sure who to throw the ring toward or when. Or if you've tread water in the deep long enough, the ring might actually be floating near you, but you A, aren't sure if it's the right ring for you, B, you're tired and you are worn, too worn to reach for it, or C, I don't want others in the pool seeing me need this ring just to stay afloat. Deep end parents who are isolated, overwhelmed, and good at pretending that it's great in the deep end are the parents who drown more quickly and the kids who start thinking that the "this is beyond normal" is about who they are, not the water that they're swimming in. Some parents are what I call synchronized swimmers. They've got that forced smile on their face. They're performing pretty well, but underneath the water, their heart is racing, their limbs are flailing, and they're trying to keep their breath. It makes it hard, actually, for lifeguards to see that you're struggling in the deep, or that you might need a real break. This can also make it more difficult to fully be noticed or understood by the lifeguards, by the swimmers in the shallow, or the spectators on the sidelines. What also makes it confusing is that kids who swim mostly in the deep occasionally spend time in the shallow. The key is to consider where they spend most of their time and their energy. So you might hear others say things like, "They seem fine when they're at school," or "When we camped together this summer with you guys, the kids seemed to get along just fine." That might just be because they only see your kid when they visit the shallow end. It also might make it more confusing for you. When you see your kid able to control their emotions or complete tasks without a whole lot of coaching, you might be baffled when the very next day they can't just seem to do those things anymore. It's a pretty defeating feeling to watch that as a parent, thinking you haven't made any gains. Asking for a life ring can require vulnerability, bravery, stamina, and an ability to weed through the available supports for the ones that fit your needs best. No small task when you're almost out of air and taking on water. I learned to swim better when others recognized I was swimming in the deep water, when the water was framed for me in context to what I was struggling with and why, and when I was told it's okay to take care of yourself. We know that naming the depth of the pool early is important for learning to swim in rough waters and strong currents that are ever-changing. It's important for your child who is struggling in those same waters and is half the size and doesn't have half the equipment to deal with the storms. When you feel like you're just hanging on, it's probably something more. And that means it's not just okay to reach for a life ring, it is encouraged. You are a good parent who is dealing with treacherous and relentless swimming conditions. There are other parents in the deep who do get it, and they are a resource. There are professionals who do understand that you are the expert on your child, and that while there are no simple fixes, you are not alone. There are a lot of situations that will land a person in the deep end of the pool. They might be your child's mental health, and it might be your own, and it's okay to be curious about both. Neither are your fault, and both are important for your wellness and your functioning as a family. It might be because of circumstances or experiences in your life that were out of your control. There are safe places to talk about the deep end, to look at it from many angles and offer it compassion and attention. Sometimes we need to problem solve. Sometimes we need to adjust our expectations and adapt our approach to parenting. And sometimes we need to grieve or heal so that we can be present and connected. The goal is always to belong to one another better and grow to our capacity, no matter where you find yourself in the pool.